Okay.
All right.
So I forgot to turn off the heating unit. So that was a dumb thing that I did.
Yeah, we're back though, right?
We're back, and
We're back.
And we have a
We're drinking a new beer.
new beer.
This one is called the Sixth Glass Quadruple Ale by Boulevard Brewing in Kansas City.
Part of their smokestack series.
It is a deep and mysterious libation, dark autumn and full-bodied.
And this bad boy is 10.5% alcohol.
Yes, it is.
So,
All right. This
Cheers,
is to celebrate
mate.
our 16th level, and also the entire BioWare and Black Isle series of CRPGs, which we were just discussing.
Sweet 16.
I should mention
It's tasty.
that the bottle has the devil on it.
The bottle does have the devil on it.
So that means we're not going to die this time.
So, I didn't check to see how much we need for our next level. 16. Oh man.
How are we strong? We need once we get healmore. Things are going to change once we get healmore.
Yeah, we need to have 16,000 experience to hit level 17.
How much are we getting from these bad beasts?
We're getting like between 25 and 35, somewhere in there, I think.
Okay. You know.
So not nothing.
Before we leave the topic of the Black Isle games forever and the BioWare games,
I really doubt it'll be forever no matter what we do. But
last time I ever speak of it on this mortal coil,
not gonna happen.
It's not true at all. No, what you were kind of saying, the idea about the portals being anywhere. I think what I loved about those games so much is that they felt so dense and oddly real. Like there were just so many. There were so many. Everything's. Ooh,
I might die.
that's right.
Nope. We win.
Yay. I guess everything's felt so weirdly idiosyncratic, like it could really exist.
Yeah,
There's a handcrafted quality to it.
Yeah, it's very fully realized. Like, if this set of precepts is true, this is the world that would be produced by those precepts. And they take that to, like, the fullest extent.
There were always things to find. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of dungeon crawling games don't really get that right. Like, I was playing Neverwinter Nights relatively recently, and a lot of the dungeons are just empty. You know, you fight things, you locate the same items every room you go to. Baldur's Gate 2, you're wandering through the sewer. Of course, like, there's a side panel that's just like a tomb that you can summon, like, resurrect a lich out of. You know what I mean? The lich has a quest for you. Or you do something to fight him, or you can bring something there. You know what I mean? There's always some, like, weird hidden secret. And I feel like it's the varying levels of whether you can obtain them or not. It just makes the world feel full. And it makes it feel adventurous and full of possibility.
Yeah, that was maybe the principal problem with the Legend of Grimrock. Which
Really?
It was like... The process of exploring and finding the little secret switches and stuff was really fun, but in the end, everything you found was just either better equipment or food or just, stuff. None of it was, like, particularly legendary. There weren't, like, characters that you'd find to speak to, I don't feel like. I didn't finish that game, but...
I wonder, I think that's interesting. It was a combination of things. Like, I feel like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, it was really the joy of discovery. A lot of the dungeons, or just the places you would be, they had their own personality. Discovering their kind of internal logic, why they existed, their histories, that alone was enough to make... I mean, that was kind of what you were there for. Right. You know what I mean? That's to some degree, that's why certain parts of Fallout 3 were disappointing to me. It's like... I realize that's probably more common than it is actually the exception. You know what I mean? But they just did it so well. I don't know. There's a dungeon at the end of Baldur's Gate 2, or an optional one. I think it's called the Watcher or something. I don't know. It's a castle or a chateau or a mansion or something like that. But it has its... I don't know. It just gets the D&D spirit right. There's so much to find. I think. It fills it somehow. It feels full of life.
Yeah.
Even when it's just in Icewind Dale, it's literally just crypts. You know what I mean? But somehow that it was a huge catalyst for my imagination. I don't know. It's difficult to put into words my love for those games.
Well, it's, that's kind of the way it is with those formative experiences in gaming.
Absolutely.
You know, it's the same reason why sometimes I struggle to put into words what I like about games like this, or
oh yeah, man,
why, you know, I'll get emotional at the start of a new Mario game. Like,
sure.
it's not a drama. It's a Mario. It's a me.
I understand.
But, like, you know, or like Zelda especially has that effect on me.
Yeah.
Zelda's the other franchise. I think Zelda might be the franchise that I have spent the most time playing.
Yeah.
As a whole. Because there's a lot of the Zelda games that I've played multiple times all the way through.
That's interesting.
I think it's time to go home.
I don't know. I feel like the best games like this are just kind of magical. I mean, like, if you think about it, we're not really doing a whole lot, but it's like kind of how it transmutes our experience of time into something, I don't know, imaginative. As a kid, especially, like, something like this, you know? I like it.
Like, that's the thing with, like, even with Zelda, where the only one that really had that potential to have... Well, that's not really true. I think The Legend of Zelda, the NES title, is the most mysterious, the most full of possibilities. And then, like, I didn't play Link to the Past until I was much, much older and had played a bunch of other Zelda games. But
that was my formative Zelda, yeah.
Yeah, but then Ocarina of Time was that way for me. And, like, Ocarina of Time is also like that, where it's just full of just random little spots where you can do a particular thing, and suddenly there's a whole new little space for you to enter and find. And, you know, it was often a very tiny space that just had like a piece of heart or whatever. Like, you play the Song of Storms in a particular spot and suddenly a hole opens up and you can get a piece of heart. But, like, not knowing that was there the whole time,
I love that,
led to a sense of wonder. But then, like, the later Zeldas have kind of abandoned that, where you can eventually just get things that help you find everything. And it makes it a lot easier to get everything, sure, but in the end you have a little bit more of an empty experience because you didn't have to, like, seek it out or use any sort of intuition or game sense to find it.
I call it this, but I don't know what else to call it. It's just like it's like that old school RPG kind of attitude where, even like pen and paper, imagine like you're wandering through a dungeon. There's nothing that will tell you that there's a hidden door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To your right, and there could be something incredible behind it. The secret to the whole place could be behind it.
And part of that, I think that's both the blessing and the curse of those type of games, because that ended up kind of fucking up our pen and paper RPG, where I was like, if literally anything is possible, well, do we smell anything weird?
Yeah.
Does any of the wall texture look different than any of the rest? Like,
I think that might get to how it's difficult to find a balance between those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Behind,
like, anything is possible, and these are the things that are possible. Because really, there is a limit to how much is actually possible.
Right. And it's different, too, probably for... I mean, not probably, just is different for a game, because it has to be preset, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, especially, you know, a purchased video gaming experience is always going to be more predictable.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean...
By necessity.
That's not to say it couldn't be procedural or random.
Although, you know, that's part of what makes No Man's Sky so exciting.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, it's a procedural universe where you can find ostensibly new stuff all over the place and novel situations.
Yeah. Just
by the interaction of the data.
Absolutely.
That the world is generated from. So
I think, just to get back to it real quick, the unique magic of those BioWare and Interplay games was that they somehow managed to have both of the sense of that sort of that magic coming together.
Balance very well.
Yeah, and exactly, and while being completely handcrafted.
Especially, you know, in your first playthrough, I bet subsequent playthroughs are less
like
in that.
I'm sure there are fans of the game who know it so well that it lacks an element of surprise to them. Like, I love them, but I don't know them as well that I would know everything about the world. Yeah,
I definitely have games like that where I do basically know everything. Although sometimes I have felt that way about a game and then been proven wrong. I found that with Dark Souls. I thought I knew literally every item location, every enemy, and then I watched someone play through for their first time, and they found a treasure chest I'd never seen before. In the Duke's Archives. It was on top of a bookshelf in the middle of a room where there was no obvious way to get to it. So I never really looked up there because it just didn't strike me to.
Did you ever do that with... This is kind of weird. I noticed this, like, with the original Fallout. I played it so much that I kind of felt the same thing. Like, I knew its secrets, I knew its rhythms, but for some reason I found myself, and this is probably not most people's approach to things, like, but I never really deviated, you know what I mean? Like, I would play this, I wouldn't go and try something else all the time. Once I became conscious that I was doing this, I did, but, you know what I mean? I would play it and do the same thing.
Yeah. I find that to be very true of my Dark Souls experiences, that I often end up playing the same kind of characters, which is, like, melee dudes that have spells, and that's kind of it. And, like, I never am, like, I'm the one that's just going to do two-handed super strength weapons and only put points into strength and just do that. Or, like, I'm not going to, like, I'm not the guy that's, like, I'm going to pick the weakest weapon in the game and build a character around that. I often end up just playing the game the same way over and over. And it probably means, like, my mastery of that game is actually way more limited than it is for other people. But, I don't know, part of it is, like, being comfortable playing, and those end up being games that I'm not looking for the discomfort of challenge. Like, it's more like, this is a thing I know I've mastered, so I'm just going to have fun and relax and do a thing that I know how to do.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think part of what appeals to me about stuff like that is, like, how you play it and what you're getting out of the game. You just outlined two approaches. I mean, like, whether you're trying to play, it's kind of like a discovery, explorative, or challenging experience, or if it's a familiar experience. You know what I mean? It can be comforting or difficult. But, I mean, there's probably a unique pleasure to playing the game after you played it, you know, and you know it.
Yeah. It's like, it's the value of New Game Plus. You come back and, with the character that you've gotten very comfortable with, you know exactly what they do, and then going all the way back to the beginning, and, it's a little bit harder, but you're, like, so much more well-equipped. And like, New Game Plus is a thing I highly value in games these days. And
I imagine to some degree, too, for you, especially once you become more skilled with the game, it's kind of a performative aspect, too. I mean, you can perform it well. And I know I know how you feel about it, but I think that was the appeal of a game. It's kind of like it's like junk food, kind of comfort food game, but like something like Counter-Strike for me was always kind of like that. You just slip into its rhythms again without having to worry about it. And it's something that's so difficult to perfect that it's constant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was about perfecting a very singular task.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Counter-Strike just never had that appeal for me. I don't know. Shooters in general never really had that appeal for me.
I think
part of it just always came down to I just knew that there were people who were just way, 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 way better than me. Like, so much better than me. And the fact is, you directly compete with those people.
That's true.
Whereas a single-player game, that performance is just like meeting your own standards or exceeding them or not.
That's true. I mean, I got even now I get stomped. Like, I think the thing is, like, I would occasionally have runs where I just do okay. I feel like it was weird too, because it was not really, like, I think one of the classic PC deathmatch games, but I loved Half-Life Deathmatch and Team Fortress and Counter-Strike back when they were like like CS 1.6 and stuff like that.
Yeah, I put a couple hundred hours into Team Fortress 2. But it's a pretty different game.
It's different. I always, like, maybe it's just a kid thing too, but I always, like, connected them, Like, I had this tendency as a kid for a really long, even now, to, like, mythologize things and connect them into a single universe. So I just kind of see them as aspects of the same world. Probably because they were mods of Half-Life.
Yeah.
So I just kind of connect them. But
it's an easy connection to make when they all look the same.
Right. I loved Half-Life Deathmatch, though. Like, original Half-Life Deathmatch.
I played a single match
I played
of Half-Life Deathmatch
all the time. And I think I was not, super great. But it's also not, like, crazy Twitch, like, Quake Deathmatch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Quake Deathmatch is a...
Jeez.
thing of insanity. I don't.
If you were like tried to, oh my
I can't imagine trying to like get into that now. It seems impossible.
Like I feel there probably still have to be people who play.
Oh, there are
Quake
hundreds
3.
of people who play it still.
Yeah.
Like for sure, there are still tournaments for it. I think.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It is kind of funny. I did get that way a little bit recently with Destiny multiplayer.
Sure.
Our mutual friend Travis came over, and I wanted to show him the game, and I hopped into a multiplayer match, and it was the first. It was a game of Control. It was the first Control game I played that entire day, and I was sitting there just to show him what kind of the deal was, and I ended up having my best performance ever. And it was the most like zen, just like knowing where people were, having my weapon charged at the right time because I was using a fusion rifle basically the entire match because secondary ammo is broken in that game. And just doing that and just getting kill after kill after kill. My kill death ratio was like 3 something. It was just ridiculous.
That was always the appeal of Counter-Strike to me.
Yeah. I think you access that zen state through a shooter like that much more readily than I do.
Yeah, that's possible.
I reach that in much different games.
How much did you play a lot of? Did you play PC games really as a kid?
Yeah.
Were you like Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff?
Oh, I definitely played Doom when I was a young kid because I remember getting the shareware floppy.
Those like shareware packs.
Yeah, and playing it that way, and then
Absolutely.
going to my friend's house who actually owned it because his dad gave it to him. Because his parents were split up, and his dad was trying to be the cool parent and giving him Doom and stuff, and going over and playing it all the way through, and then eventually getting it for myself and playing it. But never multiplayer. It was always single player. It was always a way to dominate the single player campaign.
Was Doom multiplayer over the internet even a thing?
It was LAN. Yeah.
Yeah, I was too when I was a kid. But I got it the same way because my dad was involved very early on in like business applications of computers, so he was just into all that kind of world. But yeah, we used to get those crazy shareware packs. I remember. Do you remember these? Like, there were shareware packs that would be like you would want rather than just be a menu, you would it would place you in a game world, and you would want. I remember this.
No, I don't know this.
I would wander in a it would look like a concrete brick castle, and you would wander into paintings that are the game. No joke.
What? This reminds me of the way that you picked which campaign you were going to do in Quake 1.
Yep.
Remember how you had to walk through the portals to pick one?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just I don't know. Like my brain associates all those things, or the maze screensaver in early Windows. Like I don't know, like something. It's that weird. I don't know. It seems like another world. That's what's so cool about it to me. But I definitely remember that.
Man, do you remember screensavers?
What's that?
Screensavers?
Yeah.
No, just your monitor turns off.
Power down.
Just gives up.
I love the Labyrinth one though for some reason. Maybe just because
I had flying toasters. I don't know how familiar you are with flying toasters.
I do remember flying toasters.
There's a lot of things that you could do with that screensaver. Like you could change it a lot. It was a mysterious screensaver. If there was ever a mysterious screensaver.
The early world of computing was so mysterious, and I think that it felt more magical. I think that's the thing. Not that it can't very well be magical now. It's just there were it's that weird janky 3D neon
mystery
feel.
In computers is scary now. It's not filled with wonder. It's like, oh, how is this fucking me right now?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Maybe this is being colored by my racing experience. I just recently had my bank account compromised by an ATM I used in Mexico. So don't use ATMs in Mexico ever. Yeah, they wiped me out, so that was fun. Still working through that, but yeah, now it's just like I don't know. I'm very distrustful of people on the internet. Oh, it's funny. I play EVE Online a little bit. And that's a game world where it behooves you to not trust anyone. And like there are people actively trying to help me in the game, and because I'm terrible and an idiot and don't know what I'm doing. And people are giving me advice, and I still don't trust them to be telling me the truth.
You've been burned before?
Mm-hmm. Well, especially in that game because there's a lot of people who are very predatory towards newbies.
Sure.
Which is a stupid thing to do in a game that you enjoy. For anyone out there, who likes to troll newbies or whatever. It's a really stupid thing to do because that just means that you're shooting your own game in the foot. You know, the game you like is less likely to survive if you don't have other people playing it with you. But, you know.
I always loved running. I did a lot of running people through low-level instances in WoW. Mm-hmm. I think I had a thing, like a soft spot for the instances that nobody ever really went through.
Yeah. I did that in Guild Wars as well. Especially once I got to the point where me and my heroes, as a 4-man team in a mission that fielded 8, I would be, me, myself, and I would be half the team.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter who else was in there. The 4 of us were going to take care of it no matter what. And so I would take through people and just kind of taxi them through to the hub cities.
I mean, like, I guess it's no less a power fantasy, I guess, than but then like ganking noobs or something. Mm-hmm. Well, but you know, anyway, but I don't know, being able to wield it compassionately, it was kind of nice. And
yeah, definitely.
Plus, it was more like, come see this content to me, because like I feel like a lot of people skipped it. Mm-hmm. Like there was in the Horde, I think there was like Shadowfang Keep or Shadow something Keep, but it was really cool. It was like a werewolf themed instance, like and like I don't know, it was really cool, and like I loved those early instances. Or people always call it VC for Van Cleef, the pirate boss, and like the sunken. It was like
Edwin Van Cleef.
Edwin Van Cleef. Yep.
He's a legendary in Hearthstone that I used in a deck,
yeah,
so like I know him as a character from that
many
game.
times.
He's very strong.
Yeah, I mean the instance was, I don't know, I don't remember him being.
His card is very strong.
That's cool. That's cool. See, that's weird because, man, I have associations. But I think the other thing about that was I played like Warcraft 2 and stuff way back. I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely more tied to the flavor of the Warcraft universe, where I had no tie whatsoever when I played World of Warcraft.
That's true.
I had not played. I've never played any of the Warcraft games that aren't World of Warcraft.
I mean, like I didn't know a ton, but I definitely played it before. You know.
Yeah.
Zub.
The thing is, like, I know the trappings of that franchise, but I don't really understand them. So, like, I know when you say Zub, it's a Warcraft thing. I don't know what it means. But...
yeah, it's just orc for when you tell them to click on go hack down that forest.
Yeah.
Zub.
Old Blizzard.
Oh man, it was so cool.
My Blizzard experiences were more oriented around Diablo.
I mean, I played those, but I also played Diablo. Diablo 1 is the Diablo game that I played the most.
Which is so crazy to me. Because the first Diablo is the most, like, player-unfriendly one, like, by a mile.
Yeah,
like,
sure is.
It just explains so little to you about what you're supposed to be doing in any given moment.
That was kind of my... Yeah, I mean, I played... You know, I know it's all those formative experiences, yeah, but... That was the same year as Fallout, I believe.
Really? Year of release?
Maybe Diablo was 96, I don't remember. But it was around the same year. It was all those things, like Final Fantasy VII was out around then too.
I don't think I've talked about this on the recording. I just remember the Christmas I got a Diablo 2 battle chest.
Oh wow.
That had Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction, and Diablo 1. Oh. And that started the whole tradition for me of just gravitating towards playing Diablo around Christmas time. It's like the most like tonally dissonant thing to do in the holiday season, but like whatever. I don't know. It's just a huge part of my childhood, and
that's cool.
Having that holiday time where I didn't have to go to school, and so I could work on a character and get them through a few acts. And
dude, absolutely. Oh, hey, look at that!
Hey, look at that! See, that didn't take that.
Oh, are we gonna get healmore?
I'm pretty sure we are. Yep.
Woohoo!
Boom!
Oh yeah!
Healmore, baby.
Ah, it's happening. Strangely enough, my family, when I lived at home, still on New Year's, at least twice, we played through Silent Hill games
which
as
is
a family.
So crazy,
super weird.
Yeah.
It is really, honestly, the weirdest.
Because I have such a hard time imagining your parents appreciating or enjoying those games in any capacity.
They did. I don't know why, and my sister really loves them too. I mean, that was kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I love Silent Hill.
I do too. But we played weird ones too, like Origins.
Oh,
we played the PS. Yeah, I mean it's super combat heavy, and I think we also played the one where he's like a war vet. You know, it was one of the first ones that had like an American Homecoming. Yep, thank you. Yep.
I've played all the Silent Hills except for the Wii one.
Yes, I have not played
Shattered
Downpour.
Memories.
I have played Shattered Memories, which I really liked, and I think you will.
And I played Downpour. I suffered through Downpour, and
I played a little bit of it when you like a couple minutes of it.
So bad.
Shattered,
that is a really bad game.
I thought maybe I'm just full of it, but I thought Shattered Memories was pretty cool, and I feel like
I haven't had the opportunity to play it.
Yeah.
So.
It's also not that long. I like that it kind of responds to the decisions that you make. It actually crafts the story at the end. Oh man,
kind of taking some risks here. There we go.
Ooh, the risk. Oh, but you can just heal more.
Yeah, that's kind of my plan. He's gonna hit me, and now I'm gonna heal more. Oh, weird. He's so big that he covers part of the menu.
He's breaking it. Ooh! Oh wow!
That's just max healed us.
Yeah,
that's rocking. All right.
Oh, that is way cool. Oh, dude, we can totally go fight.
Yeah, now we can make our way to Cantland.
Yeah.
I think. Or at least try.
I mean, level 17 is pretty high.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where
Dargan Warrior.
We're on our way. Oh, I should check the next level goal. Hang on.
Yeah, talk to young Gwayland. Lady Gwayland.
2794.
Okay, I think if we head south, maybe we'll start getting more XPs.
What's that? 17,000, 19,000? Okay.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right.
I love thee, but Lord.
I love thee, but Lord.
You're the only one, Gwayland. Except maybe King Lorik. King Lorik's pretty into us.
I do think that's the canonical romance, and also would appreciate
if Gwayland stepped off.
If Gwayland was the adventurer princess, the one. Oh. Cat Lord approacheth.
Taco Lord.
Tongue Lord. I know.
Walking on the mic platform.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to scare you.
Would you just chill out? Alright, cat break.
Cat break.
You just settle down.